remove her from every relative, every friend that she considered an auntie or an uncle, her aunties, everybody she was taken away from. And I think it's awful.
Yes, that was when the marriage broke up. That's when she then left. Yeah.
That was when the first signs of her being really unstable and paranoid and acting really strangely for weeks before, running out in the house at night with her nightie on and bare feet, biting her son when he tried to bring her back into the house, just totally out of character, absolutely.
And just to explain a wee bit more, that Anne's husband was trying to cope with her having this sort of a bit of a breakdown. He tried really hard, along with Wynne and other people, various different ways of helping her.
Dennis and I actually took her to the GP because we were so concerned. And I don't know what the GP had said because she went in by herself. But when she came out, she said to the two of us, look, see, he's one of the ones that's against us as well, against me as well. She was paranoid about everything and everybody. And it was sad. I mean, every friend, when she ran out that night, personally, I spent about 2 hours driving all round the town looking for her with another friend who went out in her car. Dennis had to stay with Hollie. I mean, we were frantic, we were worried, sick about her. So, there was no abuse, I can assure you.
When would there have been time anyway? I mean, he worked on offshore, and when he was home, I mean, Anne spent every minute she could with Hollie.
Absolutely, they were always together.
And every minute with Dennis, the three of them were always together.
Yes, they were always together when he was at home.
And when Dave and I went out with them, there was always Dennis, Anne, Hollie, Dave and myself. And she was spoiled by every one of us, you know?
Yes.
In the nicest way. I don't mean spoiled in a bad way, but she was just made a fuss of.
Yes, just
happy, happy little thing.
She was.
Right, now, Sylvia, let's talk about the courtroom. There's obviously a lot of, there's a very nasty video on YouTube about you obviously coming in and sitting behind Hollie Greig. Tell us your side of this.
Right, I was down there 2 hours before the court started, because the court was supposed to start at 10 o'clock, but it was delayed till 12 o'clock. So myself and this other gentleman, we were in the room for about 2 hours before it started. So about 11:30 or round about then, everybody started coming in. And then Anne and Hollie came in, and they walked right past me, right to the other side of the courtroom, and sat there speaking to Belinda Mackenzie. But I mean, I knew they were along the other side of the room, but I didn't look their way, really, on purpose, I suppose. And then, after a while, the judge started the court, and then he just adjourned for lunch. Now, I never saw, she must have moved from the end of the bench, moved up to let people in beside her. I did not notice she was almost ahead of me. I mean, she looks as though she's ahead of me, but it's at an angle. I did not notice that she had moved up the bench.
Yeah, if you count the amount of people sitting on the benches in the photograph, you'll see they claim that Sylvia was sitting directly behind Hollie, but if you count the people on the benches, you can see she was way off to the side. And then wherever Sylvia was in that room, you can see on the photo, she would have been behind Hollie anyway. There was nowhere else for her to sit.
Everybody was behind Hollie. We were all in before Hollie and Anne came in. They were one of the last ones. And I mean, there was a corridor between myself, the seats, and the benches where they were sitting. So she had moved along the bench a bit, which I had not noticed, and then it was adjourned for lunch. I never noticed her move along the bench. But she had.
Can I just say, like, some of the commentary on YouTube is unbelievable. You know, just really vitriolic against Sylvia for this one thing that's happened.
Can I just clarify, because the questions are coming in. Of course, this is during Robert Green's trial.
No.
I beg your pardon. Clarify.
This is
I beg your pardon. This is obviously the London, when the arraignment with Hollie and Anne in London.
Yes.
Okay.
And there was a big court presence there.
That's right. Okay.
Brian Garish, Bill Maloney, Mackenzie, they were all there. And the word from the court that came back was that Sylvia had turned up and was glaring at Hollie and trying to freak her out and everything.
I never looked.
That's coming from Belinda Mackenzie. And do you know who else was there gearing the crowd up? It was Bill Maloney as well, getting them to chant and slow hand clap Sylvia on the way out, which I mean, it's just disgusting behaviour. None of these people knew anything.
No, it doesn't matter, because none of them knew the truth. So really, it doesn't matter what they were shouting. It makes no difference.
Well, one of them was shouting, "Google Hollie Green."
No.
Shows how much she
Sorry.
knew about it, you know. It seems that Belinda seemed to have a bit of a renter mob there that were part of the truth movement, and on questioning them, they didn't have a clue what the case was about. They were just told this really good thing was happening that they can demonstrate at.
That's right, because when I was down in the foyer of the courtroom speaking to a few people, they had no idea what was going on.
Yeah,
One lady said that Mr. Green, he was such a nice man, he was put in prison for a year for handing out some leaflets in the street. She said, "Is that all you know?" And she said, yes, that was all she knew. She knew nothing.
And again, that is a falsehood. It wasn't true.
Oh, it wasn't true. And I just said, "You don't know, do you?" And she said, "No," so I didn't bother telling her.
No, but if you say it enough times, people do get to believe it, don't they? They start to just believe.
Yes.
Yeah. But what he was imprisoned for was writing letters naming every one of us to all our neighbours and sending them by post.
That's right.
And we didn't even know that letters had been sent until the police came.
And it was to businesses in the area as well, wasn't it?
Yes, businesses and all the neighbours in each shopping area that people lived in.
So that was what he was charged
Yes,
for.
but they did not know that down in London.
Plus for defying the interdict that the sheriff had taken against him.
Yes.
Okay, all right. So, obviously, you're in a situation now where it's caused massive damage to your lives. Okay? What I want to ask, how do you see this now coming right? I mean, what needs to be done?
Can I feel that just...
Is that Sarah? Yes.
Yes.
Go on, Sarah.
What is happening is that the lies are still being put out on the internet, and they're contained in many videos on YouTube, and some of the most horrible videos and some of the ones that are thickest with the lies, they should come down. That is the next step. They should be pulled from YouTube. That is, and that is, should be happening yesterday. But other people might have other ideas. Carry on.
Yeah. It's difficult to pull things from YouTube. You know, it's a free platform. The thing about YouTube, people...
It's really easy. Just take your thumbs off.
Yeah, I mean, in terms of people with their own sites, it's so difficult to do it to other people's sites. Those people have their own sites.
But people have to wake up, and people, especially people making videos calling Sylvia a liar and a pig, they really need to examine what they're doing.